project you want? How many of you would feel like doing it right now? Don't be afraid of not raising your hand. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. How many of you are not motivated today? It should be the other half. Your guys aren't paying attention though. Okay, so for those of you that are not motivated right now, I've heard that cats help with that. So here's a cat with a really nice smile. And if that is not enough, here's another cat which doesn't know what's happening and why that other cat is smiling. And if that is not enough, please stay and I'll try to help you out with that. Among all your qualities, your happiness and passion for the things you do is the one I like the most. Do not change that. That was my manager's manager in one of our one-on-ones. I had just paint in my hair at the time. She just looked at me and said like, that's amazing. The fact that you just took the decision to just paint your hair pink and you just go out and all the things you do for us and a bit more into me and go deeper into what my feelings are and my feelings were at least at the moment. And what was happening with me. I mean, why I was feeling that way. So this is me. I'm Flapper87 pretty much everywhere. That's my email address. Please do follow me. You need to feed my ego, so you just go there, follow me, and please share your feedback with the talk. If you liked it, do tell me, and if you didn't like it, do not tell me. I'm just kidding. Tell me as well, so I can just improve it. And if you don't feel like following me, just send me an email, and I'm happily going to reply to all your feedback and comments. It has happened to me in the past, so I'm very happy to do that again. I'm still working at Red Hat. I work mainly on OpenStack, as you might already know, based on this morning's Royal Rumble. Questions and answers anytime you want, just stop me. I don't mind being interrupted. Please raise your hand. We'll do it. And thanks a lot for being here. And by the way, this is me here last year in this same stand. And this right here is Alex Martelli, and he's sitting in the same spot. So this is my proof that I was here last year. But a completely different talk, I guess. I don't even remember. I was probably talking about OpenStack because I'm wearing the OpenStack shirt. So, few disclaimers before I get into these topics. I'm not a psychologist. I am not a psychiatrist. All this is based on my experience. So if you're a psychologist and you think I'm not making any sense, please do tell me. I'm not going to pay for that session, so please just share your feedback if you want, and I'm happy going to discuss that. I might start talking really fast. It is not because I'm nervous or anything. It is because I'm originally from South America, and you cannot waste time there, and every second you waste there, you might get killed, and so you have to say everything you have to say very soon. So if I'm speaking like really fast, please raise your hand and I'll try to slow down. If I say bad words, do not take it on me. I don't know what's wrong with me. So what's passion? Let's start by defining what passion is. Passion is that thing that some people describe it as an emotion. Some other people have more philosophical definitions of what a passion is. So to me, it's that thing that makes you love something that you do. It's that thing that it's not what motivates you. It's completely different. It's that thing that you just feel it inside. It's like when you wake up every morning and you say, like, I'm going to sit down and code the whole fucking day because I love it. And it just makes me feel okay. And I love doing that. And then you go to bed and you're still thinking about it. And that's passion. That's love for the things you're doing. This is completely different from being motivated. If you could go to Wikipedia, which is basically what I did when I started preparing this talk, to get a better definition of what passion is. But I would really encourage you to make your own definition of what it is, because it might mean different things for many people. But believe me, it is that thing that pushes you to do whatever you love to do. It's that thing that tells you, you love this, you should keep doing it. And it is not just one time. You can have many passions, and that's what this talk is about. Is what to do with all those passions that you have inside, all those things that you love to do, and you struggle to do them all because you want to. And you get to the point where you're losing that motivation to do it. I really want to click it, damn it. What's motivation? Motivation is still, like some people define it as an emotion, some other people don't. But in theory, I mean, at the base level, I believe motivation is what actually makes you do the things you love. And it's probably a result of that love, that passion that you have for some things. I'm passionate about coding, but I might not be motivated to do it because some things happened. For instance, if I wake up one day and my cat died, I don't have cats, thanks God, but if I wake up one day and my cat dies that exact day, I'm still passionate about coding, but I'm probably not going to code because I'm probably going to feel bad or not. But you know, it's that thing that makes you do the things you love to do. And what's boredom? This is I don't know how old this word is. I know it's not that old because I read it up in Wikipedia. But boredom is basically that state of mind where you still love the things you love to do. You still love coding. You still love hiking, juggling, or whatever you love to do. But you're in the moment, in a state of mind where, although you love it, you are not feeling motivated to do it. You are left with the feeling of not having enough things to do. You're left with a feeling of not having other things to explore through or in those many passions you have. So, let me try to build an example for it. If you love coding and you've been working on it and you've been motivated to do it and you're working on several different open source projects and you get to the point where you still want to work on them all, but you do not find something to do in those projects. You're losing motivation. You don't know where to spend your time on. You don't know whether to work on a new feature. You don't know whether to work on a bug fixing. You don't know whether to help with documentation or just doing public speaking, whatever. You're left with a weird feeling, which is not being burnt out. It's completely different. Being burnt out is just your brain just fried. You know, like your brain is not working. You don't know what to do. You're tired. You need to rest. You need to take some time off. This is different. You still have that passion. You still have that kind of motivation, but you're left in a limbo where you do not know what to do with that, or you do not know how to spend your time in the projects you like. So, with the hope to make this point a little bit clearer, I guess, I'm going to tell you a story. And this story is not, by any means, it's not meant to show off myself, because I don't have anything, I believe, to show off. But I just wanted to make a point on how passions can take you to put yourself through many, many things that might be good or might not be good, but still they motivate you and they help you out. So that's me. That is me before, I mean, that's me when I started coding, when I learned coding. I was a happy non-dev person that liked to eat bananas all day, and I found out about coding. I started with a language that I'm not going to mention, and I didn't have any job. Like, I started, doing courses, and I'm a self-taught person. I didn't go to college, so I had to struggle with all that myself. Like, I tried to find my way through programming and development. Then I evolved, I guess, and I found my first job as a programmer. I found this job back in Venezuela, where I'm from, and it was for actually a very big national company. And I found out my first passion, helping people. That was my first passion. And it's like, I love to help people, and I have this thing that I'm learning to do, which is programming. So let's make it useful. And we had this, how many of you know what assistive technology is? How many of you know what assistive technology is? None. Okay, one. Okay, so assistive technology is the technology that allows people with certain disabilities to access technology. So, assistive, yeah. And and we started working on a Linux distribution that would allow people with visual impediments to access technology. And we started working, there were already some projects that did this amazingly, and one of them is called GNOME Orca. And we started helping with that. We started working on it, fixing bugs, and making sure it worked, and we put it into a distribution, and we created this distribution. And alongside that, I started working on a separate project, a personal project, to go through that passion a little bit more. And I started working with this project that would help people with movement impediments to access computers, to access technology. And it would be, this project would, capture images, analyze people's movements, whether they're moving their heads, whether they're moving their eyes. So it would just move the cursor around the screen. And then I left my country, and this is me, in my first job in Italy. And I kept working on, obviously, on technology, and I did something completely different. I started working on something on PBX. Like, we have this contact system based on top of SIP protocols, and we built stuff that call centers use to call people. And I kept working on that, obviously. But as I was working on it, I didn't want to give up my first passion, which is helping people and work on assistive technologies and working on that Linux distribution, and especially like Mousetrap, which is the name of the project I was working on. And this took me to my first season, which is a complete summit for people with some disabilities, impediments, and well, I mean, I kept doing that. And then this is me. I changed job, and I started working on another of my passions, distributed systems. And I started working with a company where we did search engines. And I was responsible for part of the search engine and all the database layer and the distributed system, so I had to take care of that. But I didn't want to give up my previous passions, so I kept working on SIP technologies, I kept working on call centers, and I kept working on Mousetrap, and as I was also doing my job. Because I loved that. I didn't want to give up that. And this is me. Now, I'm back to eating bananas. And I'm working at Red Hat, as you already know, and I work on OpenStack. And I haven't given up my previous passions. Instead, I just added more. I found out about OpenStack and cloud computing. I found out about cloud providers, and I jumped into it right away. I started working on the storage side of OpenStack. That's what I'm taking care of right now. And in OpenStack, OpenStack is this massive ecosystem that you can just throw yourself into and pick whatever you like, whatever you want, and just work on it. Like, we have libraries if you like, if you're into libraries. We have common code. We have databases if you're into databases. You have block devices, computing, networking. There's, I mean, you name it. There's anything you want in there that you can just jump into and work on it. So I did it. I jumped into it, and I was told, pick what you like, work on it, make it happen, make something good out of it. And I'm not sure if I made something good out of it, but I'm trying, and so I just jumped into it and I kept working on it. And that's what I'm doing now. So if you've been listening to me right now, like, you might be wondering, like, how am I doing this? There are so many passions that I want to keep working on. Oh, and by the way, you should add to that one something that happened like a year and a half ago, probably 2 years already. And I started working on Roslang. If you guys know what Roslang is. And I've dedicated enough time to it to become part of the reviewers and have right access to the repository, and I know the compiler well enough to do some fun stuff in there. So those are all passions. Those are, and the reason those are passions is because they are completely different things that I just love to do them. And every time I work on them, I just enjoy it. It's like, people ask me, like, what's your hobby? And I was like, I do not have time for hobbies. Like, I have many things in my hands like I love to do. So pretty much my job is my hobby right now. Like, I love doing what I'm doing. I'm trying to spread myself into that. But that at some point, like, having all those passions is, although it sounds amazing, and although it just sounds like you would probably just want to do it and throw yourself into many things, it's not always like that. There are many frustrations. And you get to the point where you have so many passions and you tend, like I said, you hit something. You hit something that frustrates you. There's no cold water that will just wash it off. You're still there. You're in that moment, that state of mind. where you're just angry, like you're passionate about something, but you do not know what to do. You're counting your time. You say, like, I want to dedicate time to this, I want to dedicate time to that, but I do not have enough time. Like my hands are kind of tied here, and I have to, split myself what I'm going to do. I do not know how to, tackle all those things, and I would love to, help you out with that, but I have to also, take care of my job, and I have to also take care of that other passion. And you kept getting people like coming back to you and saying, okay, well, like, why don't you help with that? Like, you've been good in this area, and those people come from all the things that you've been working on. And you say, like, this was supposed to work. Where's my American dream? Like, I was just jumped into it, I loved it, and I started working on it, and this was supposed to work perfectly. Well, that's the boredom. That's exactly the boredom. You get to the point where you still want to throw yourself into all those things, and it's not just about time, it's also about motivation. You get to the point where you said, I'm so passionate about so many things, and I'm not motivated because I do not have the time to do them all. So you have to sacrifice things. You have to get to the point where you're honest with yourself, and you tell yourself, okay, it is time to choose. It is time to do something about it. It is time to dedicate time on the things that are most important for you. You'll still be passionate about all the other things, but you cannot do it all. This is not about being a hero, because being a hero is a completely different thing that applies on different areas and contexts. This is just you trying to probably prove yourself that you can do many things and that you're passionate about many things, which is completely fine. It's just the important thing is that you have to understand that you're not going to be able to do them all. You will have to choose at some point. So, since I do not have many time left, I'm going to just walk through it a little bit faster. So what should I do? The first thing is embrace the boredom. It happens, it is normal, and again, this is not being burnt out. This is you losing motivation for some things that you are passionate about. This is you losing motivation to do the things you're used to do or that you would love to do. This has happened to me several times, and when my manager's manager told me that, I was going through that exact moment. I was like, how can you tell I'm so passionate about so many things and I'm doing so many things when I'm feeling inside that I'm not doing them? Like I have this feeling that I'm passionate about many things, but I'm not getting to the point where I'm, doing something productive, doing something creative with all those things. So the first thing to do is actually embrace the boredom. Admit it is there. Admit it exists. Embrace the fact that you will lose motivation for some things. And that probably is the moment where you need to stop doing some of them. That's probably the exact moment where you should, prioritize among the things you're passionate about and pick a few of them. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with the things you love. Be honest with the things you have. Be honest with your family, with your personal life, because that matters. That matters. And again, I cannot stress this enough. It is different from being burnt out. This is about motivation. It is not about you being completely destroyed mentally and physically, basically. Have small goals. Do not try to brew all that all together. Pick something. And having small goals does not mean you don't have to aim at bigger goals. You still have to do that. But you need to have small goals. Goals that you can reach in short term, because that will keep you motivated. That will keep you going. That will tell you, okay, you just reached this goal here. This is probably time to switch to something else. And balance yourself through among the things you like to do and the things you love to do. So have small goals, aim big, do not stop yourself. You gotta have like this huge goal and then break it down in several small goals and several smaller goals that you can reach in a certain amount of time so that you will keep yourself motivated. It's not lying to you. It's not like, because I got told that. So you're basically saying that you're lying to yourself because you are reaching small goals. It is not lying to yourself. It is actually reaching goals. It's having milestones. That's what milestones are for. If you are a project manager, if you have had the opportunity to work alongside with a project manager, I'm pretty sure in all your releases you have had milestones. Those are milestones, and you need to reach them. Every milestone is like a checkpoint where you say, okay, how am I doing? Am I doing okay? Do I still like it? Do I still want to dedicate time to this? Do I still want to spread myself through these projects, through all these passions? Or should I just switch? Should I just change it? Should I just like pick something else that I could be passionate about? So have small goals. This is very important. But keep pushing yourself. Keep pushing your limits until you get to the point where you can walk on the roof like the spider pig. Keep pushing your limits. You are mentally, I love to think it that way, although many people might contradict me. You are mentally unlimited. Yeah, you can do as many things as you want as long as you know how to organize your time, as long as you know how to organize or prioritize all those things. You have to know yourself. You have to. We are not the same. Like there's people that can spend more time into some things. There's people that can just spend less time on some other things. And there's people that love doing A, and there's people that love doing B. We're not the same. You have to know yourself. You have to know your limits, when to push yourself a little bit more. You have to know the things you love to do, and you have to know when to stop. And probably the most important thing is knowing when to stop, knowing when the moment of switching between A and B has arrived, and you probably need to do it. And again, that doesn't mean you do not have to push yourself. It doesn't mean that you do not have to, keep pressing, keep putting pressure on you, keep moving that thing, that bigger goal, that thing huge that you are aiming for. It doesn't mean that you don't have to push it farther away. You still have to do it. You need to do it, because that's what will keep you growing. That's what will keep you learning new things. That's what will help you to not get stuck into, a level where there's no growth, there's no evolution, there's nothing else to learn. Because that's a lie. There's always something else to learn. There's always something new that you can learn. There's something that you can improve. And we are not perfect, unfortunately. But so there's always something that you can do. So keep pushing your limits. Keep pushing that bigger goal farther away, while you're still reaching those small goals that you have set for yourself. And watch out for burnout. I said boredom is not burnout, but that doesn't mean it can happen. And I mean it. It will happen. It has happened to me, not once or twice. It has happened to me twice, even more than that. And every time I hit that point, I have to, that's a waste of time, really. Every time you hit burnt out, it's a waste of time, because you have to stop, you have to take some time off, you need to recover yourself, you need to, take some rest, because your brain is not working. You're there, you think you're doing stuff, but you're not doing anything. Like, you're in a state where you think you're productive and you think you're motivated, and that makes it already different from boredom, because boredom is like you don't have motivation. Sometimes when you're burnt out, you feel motivated, but you're basically not being productive at all, or not doing anything. And I mean it. Do not burn out. Like, watch it. It will happen. So having many passions is good, but it's a high risk. You're doing that on a high risk of being burnt out. So leave them. Go through them, explore them as much as you can, have goals, throw yourself into as many things as you wish and as many things as you love, but watch for burnout. And again, I mean it. It will happen. So since I'm very passionate about my passions, and I would love you to do the same, I would love you to be passionate about your passions and just live them as much as you can, I would also like to warn you, once again, that burnout happens, and it's not a feeling that you like, or at least I don't like it. And since I've been there, I would love you to watch for it and be very careful. The other thing to do is to reflect, is to, when I said every time you reach those small goals, you should just stop a little bit and reflect and see what's going on. How you're doing, and see where you're going from there. Well, that you can do even without reaching the small goals. If you keep yourself honest with yourself, if you keep, doing reflections on how you're doing every once in a while. It could be every week. It could be every 2 weeks if you wish, where you sit down with yourself and you talk to yourself and you say, okay, these are all the things I've been working on. These are all my passions, my current passions. This is how I've been spending my time. And is all these being healthy for me? And is all this time that I'm spending all these things being healthy for me? Am I doing something actually? Am I reaching something? Are there some changes that I should do? All these comes from reflection, and that's something you should do very frequent. Last year, I gave a talk about remote working. And you can see already some overlaps. If you saw that talk, or if you know what remote working means and what remote working is for, looks like, sorry, you can already see some overlaps. The big difference between working remotely and keeping yourself motivated while working remotely and keeping yourself motivated while you're passionate about many things is that remote working is specifically to work. You know, it is a condition where you're working on something where you have been employed to work from whatever you want and on some very specific things. In this case, we're talking about something that goes beyond work. It can be your profession, which is in my case. It can be something else in your case. It is a personal level, basically. We're talking about things that do not have to necessarily be related with your work. These are things that you can be passionate about, and you know, like, just throw yourself in there. So be honest with yourself. Reflect a lot. It is important. It might sound like, for some people, it might sound like kind of creepy or, you know, philosophical or whatever, but it works. It works. Just be honest with yourself. Reflect every once in a while, and watch emotions. So many people say, you know, like, every time, like, decision making is not about emotion, it is about being rational. Well, studies have proved that it's actually pretty much all about emotions. So if you do not watch your emotions, if you do not reflect, and if you're not careful with the things you're feeling, you might get to the point where you're going to make decisions based on those emotions, and you might regret them in the future. You know, if you're at the point where you don't feel motivated, when you're not in that boredom, that kind of limbo we talked about, and you are not aware of it, and you have to take some decisions, even work-related, you might take the wrong decision. So, and you can see it here. Like, he's looking at Flanders, and he's not very happy about what he's going to do right now, but he's going to punch him anyway. So, in that case, you realize that you're probably taking the wrong decision. So be very careful and don't fool yourself. Like, decision making and your life, even as much as you can, if you want to keep your emotions a part of your work, they will always be there. You can always say, like, I do not mix emotions with work. Well, I'm sorry. If you're still working at that company, it's because you probably like it, or, well, there might be several cases. I'm not going to, all generalizations are false, including this one. However, it is not possible to just separate emotions from work. They're always going to be there. So be very careful about the things you're feeling. Be very careful about how you are working, how you are interpreting your work, and how your passions are taking you through all your time and your day, because emotions are there and you take decisions mostly, like, I don't have even exact numbers, but they're always there every time you have to take decisions. So watch for them, be honest with yourself once again, and that's all I have. Questions?
If there is any question, please raise your hand. Body.
Beers.
So one of the problems I run into is between, okay, I want to do this and this and this and this, but I know I have to do this other thing, so I can't get started because I don't want to do this other thing. So I end up not doing any of them. and cleaning my house instead or something else crazy because I don't want to do that thing, but I'm supposed to, so I can't do the things I want to. So
been there. That's what I call, so for me, that's what I call tab switching. And it happens to me when I have several projects I want to work on. And same thing, like I want to work on that one, but I know I have to work on this one right now. So what I do is I keep switching tabs all day. You know, and I switch like between windows, and I'm wasting my time, and I know I'm wasting it. I'm not getting anything done. And to the point where I say, okay, this is madness. Like this is nonsense. So what I normally end up doing is the thing that I'm not supposed to do. I gotta be honest. However, there are a few times, and that ends up in me being, up very late to do the other thing that I was supposed to do before. I'm honest in that sense, like I sometimes fail at it, but the solutions probably is like just do whatever you have to do and do it quickly so that you can just switch to the other thing that you really want to do. Although that doesn't work all the time, unfortunately. But yeah, I know, like that's tab switching. It's just Chrome terminal mail, Chrome terminal mail, Chrome terminal mail. Yeah, that's it for me. All day, just look at the logs and yeah, being there. Damn it. Cat videos, yeah. No, what's that? Pink bunnies? Who's gonna help Alex selling that? Questions? Beers? Oh, well, just one beer though. So like.
I guess it's kind of related, but like when like us, I suppose we have a passion in our job, like, and there are a lot of new technologies coming up. I find myself many times like, okay, I want to do like a side project, and maybe I want to learn one new technology, and then maybe the new technology is a new language, but then, oh, maybe I can try this different platform, maybe I can try this different database, and then at the end, like, you're just very confused and like you don't get anywhere. So, and I find myself in this situation a lot. So how would you suggest like learning, self-learning or like something like these technologies once at a time and do it?
I actually think that's very healthy. The fact that you try to keep up with the new things that are coming out, that's very good for you. And I personally do it, and I try to keep myself updated. Although that's time consuming. Like doing research on new things falls into the bucket of things that you shouldn't probably be doing, but are good for you in a personal level and are good for your company as well. Although many companies don't want to recognize that. But I think it is good. I think personally, I keep doing it, so I think you should keep doing it until the point where you know enough to know what that technology is about, to know what that thing is about, and you just stop because you know enough about it and you are not going to use it. Unless if you are going to use it and you think that it's going to be useful for your actual work, like, I don't know, new language. And this language is amazing, so I think we should use it because it will solve like A, B, C, and D. So you can just throw yourself in there, learn more, and just start using it internally or whatever. So do not stop doing that. I really believe that research is very important for us in our field and many other fields, but it is a key to keep yourself updated as much as you can.
How do you cope with passions context switch? I mean, when you start working on project A for a new feature, and then you receive a pull request on project B, and then you see a bug in project C, and you continue to switch from the one to the other, and you don't even remember what you were doing in project A anymore.
Yeah. So if you get to a point where you don't remember what you did in the other project, that's burnout. Yeah, you're done. Stop it. Do something else. And I was talking with one of the directors of our business unit the other day, and he told me like the amount of context switching that you do is not humanly possible. And I was like, well, it's kind of working for me, and I'm not gonna lie, I have my downs, and every time I have one of those downs, I'll try to like focus on the things I have to focus. So the easiest way to solve that dilemma is I'll just focus on my work, because the other projects are side projects most of the time. So that's my my easiest way to solve the dilemma. If I'm at the point where I'm at the point where I'm going to burn out at some point, so I just like, among all the projects I'm working on, I just pick my work because I'm getting paid for that basically. So, and I still love it. It's still one of my passions. So it's not like I'm going to do it because I don't have choice. It's because I'm going to do it because I love it, and it's part of my responsibilities. So, context switching is hard for humans. Even for humans, it's hard for computers already. So context switching is really hard for humans. So the less you do it, the better. That is to say that if you have many passions and you manage to organize your time and week in a way that you can dedicate, so lots of time to each one of those projects, that's better. That's something I try to do. Like, I don't know, this sounds perfect, but it doesn't work always like that. Like, I would dedicate Monday to project A and Tuesday to project B, and my weekends to project C and D. I don't know, and the rest of the week I'll do actual work. And this is being recorded, so I can get fired for this. However, this is basically what I try to do to, avoid doing all the context switch in the same day, which is very hard for humans. I think there was another question. Oh, actual two. Nice. I'm running out of money here.
Did you find a way to deal with failure in a healthy way, and what would you suggest?
So, I think failures fall into the be honest with yourself bucket things. And it's like when you fail at doing something, the way I deal with that is that I'm honest with myself. I know I'm not perfect. That's going to happen. And every time I fail at doing something, I just try to look the bright side of it. And I try to learn something. And I really hope, I push a lot of people to just give me their feedback. It's like, I don't mind to be told what I'm doing wrong. Like, I am actually asking you to do it. So just come to me, tell me, I believe you're not doing this correctly, and you should be doing the other thing. And we'll discuss it. We'll have constructive conversations as much as we can. I'm ready to fail. I'm ready to fail again and again and again, because that's the way we learn many times. It's not just about sitting right next to the smartest guy in the room so he can or she can tell you all the things they know. It's about you also experimenting, failing, and trying again. And this happens a lot when you try to juggle with so many things, because you're playing with a lot of things and you don't want to drop balls. You don't want one of those projects to just fail or get stuck because of you. So that's part of being honest with yourself. When you know you are not going to have time, sometimes people come to me and say, there's this bug here, and we really need it for version, I don't know. That happened with Roslang recently. They came and say, there's this bug here that needs to be fixed, and 1.0 is coming recently. Do you think you can do it? And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't. I need, my schedule for these couple of weeks here is going to be packed, and I'm not going to take it just because I'm passionate about it and then make the project fail because I just wanted to take it. So let's just give it to someone else. I'm pretty sure there are very smart people in the community that can just do it, and are smarter people than me. So be honest with yourself. That's probably my best advice. And do not take you down. Understand that failures happen and they will keep happening your entire life. And the best thing you can do is just learn from them.
Do you have any suggestions for time management?
Damn it, I knew that was coming. I'm terrible at that. My talk last year was, I prepared my talk last year because I was still workaholic. So when I started working on that, it's because I realized that I was just burning myself to ground, literally. I was working crazy hours, and that's not healthy. And I started talking about you should be careful. Being workaholic is not good. You're going to burn out. You should try to manage your time, make sure you have free time, all that kind of things. So there are many ways you can do it, and there's no one solution that will work for everyone. What works for me is scheduling my time in a day-per-day basis, because I'm terrible at doing long-term plans. So what I do is like I wake up every day, I see the things I have pending, and I just like prioritize and work on those. And the only thing I have, the only things I plan in the long term are my trips to conferences. So, and once I put them in the calendar, which I'm very terrible at keeping updated, once I put them there, for me it's done. Like I know those like when those weeks are reaching, I will just try to do fewer things, so I will have time for those trips and all that kind of stuff. But normally I just wake up, read through my box, email and everything, and I'll just like try to organize it in a day-per-day basis. I know that's not a great advice, but again, like I read many books. Like there's Remote Ease is a great book. Passionate Programmer from Chad Flower is an amazing book. Read them and take whatever works best for you. Time management for sysadmin. I haven't read that one, but I've been told to.
Yeah, Tom Limoncelli, Time Management for Sysadmins is not just for sysadmins. It's a really good book on that
Awesome.
sort of thing.
This is like the third time I hear that, and I haven't read it. I should probably do it. That might be it for me. I might find something in there. Yeah. So thanks for that.
Other questions?
Cool. Thanks a lot.